All right, so I'm going to go through the most recent daily challenges we've been doing in Word and make it so that you can follow along if you've missed something. The dates may not match up depending on when you're watching this and what quarter you're in, but these are them in order for what you're doing. So if you recall, inside of Teams, you need to open up the documents from the assignment called Word Challenges. We're not turning that in until the end of the unit. So our first challenge that we did was to open up the Off to College Word Challenges document, and we needed to find all instances of the word dorm and replace them with the word apartment. So I'm going to go ahead and pop over to that document now. To find things, I'm going to hit Control F on my keyboard, or I'm going to go up to Find in the Home tab, because Find and Replace is something that happens often. Once I click Find, I'm then going to go ahead and type in the word dorm. That will allow me to locate all instances of the word dorm, which there's 4 of them. To replace them, I can either click Replace up in the top at the ribbon, or I can hit this drop-down menu here and I can choose Replace. When I get into the Replace dialog box, I have what I'm finding, which is the word dorm, and what I'm replacing it with, which is the word apartment. So I'm going to type in the word apartment in the Replace with, and then I want to replace all instances of it, which means I'm going to replace every single version of the word dorm with the word apartment. So I'm going to click Replace All to do it all at the same time. Makes 4 replacements, and that's our first task. I'm going to go ahead and close this. Our next task is to adjust the margins of the document to be 0.45 inches on the top and bottom, and 0.55 inches on the left and right. To adjust margins, that's a page layout option. So I'm going to be going to the layout settings and going into the page setup dialog box, or going to margins here. And instead of using one of these default options, which does not have the option of doing 0.45 or on the top and bottom and 0.55 on the left and right, I need to do a custom margins, and that will open me up into the page setup dialog box as well, onto the margins tab. I'm then going to type in 0.45. I don't need to type in the inches part because it's just doing the 0.45. And then I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to hit tab to pop between these so that I'm saving time and energy. So 0.45 on the top and bottom, 0.55 on the left and right. I can hit enter or OK down at the bottom, and it will apply it to the entire document. My next task was to adjust the text between finding an apartment through the words move in into a multi-level list, which means it's going to have multiple levels. So you have sub-bullets and main bullets for the style 1 parenthesis, A parenthesis, I parenthesis. So what I'm going to do is first find that text, and it's right here on the first page, finding an apartment through the words move in. I'm going to select those. I'm then going to go ahead and go to the Home tab where bulleted and numbered lists are. And I'm not just doing a bulleted list, and I'm not just doing a numbered list. Instead, I am also doing a multi-level with multiple levels. And that's going to be where I'm going to find this, because it told me a multi-level list. And when I hover over this button, it shows multi-level list. So even if you don't know what the symbols mean, you can always hover over the button and it's going to give you a name plus what it says. So going to multi-level list here, I can then choose the 1 parenthesis, A parenthesis, I parenthesis format, and that will apply. However, everything is still at the first level. So as you can see in the next sentence, it says adjust the levels of the list so that the following elements are at the first level. The only things that should be at that first level with the full numbers is finding an apartment, renting an apartment, and final step. So I'm going to go ahead and take the text between finding an apartment and renting an apartment and select it. And my goal is to make those move into the second level, demote them in, or really just make them a sub-bullet or a sub-number to finding an apartment, because these 4 things are things that I need to do in order to find an apartment. So they're a sub-bullet because they're things that go underneath that. So there's a couple ways that I can do this. I can go up to the number list that's selected right now, and I can change that list level, moving it from the top level of level 1 down to level 2, and you'll see that it will indent them and make them sub-bullets because they're things that they need to do underneath finding an apartment. The other way that I can do it is just to highlight them and just hit tab on my keyboard, which is probably the easiest and quickest way, because tab's going to automatically push it to the next level. I'm going to do the same thing for signing a lease with your landlord and paying the deposit. And I'm going to do the same thing for move in, because those are all sub items of either finding an apartment, renting an apartment, or doing the final step of moving in with the apartment. The last thing that it told me to do was to make the first level text bold format. That means that I need to take the text at the first level of the multi-level list, the 1 with the parenthesis here, and make it bold. So I'm going to go ahead and click physically on the 1. I'm not bolding the text, I'm bolding the first level item. And I'm just going to go hit the bold button up here, or you can hit Control B on your keyboard, and you've now bolded it. The next one asks you to create 2 lists on the Off to College R3 document. So that's the second document you've been given inside of the assignment, and it looks like this. You're going to be taking everything underneath the words to pack before school supplies and making it a bulleted list. So I'm going to select those, just go up to the paragraph group and apply the bulleted list format. I'm going to scroll down and do the same thing for school supplies through binders and apply a bulleted list format. And then on the next task, we are going back to the Off to College Word Challenges document. So I'm going to go back to the original one and put some stuff in here. It's asked us if we can insert a hyperlink on the text WSU in the second paragraph of the document to link to the WSU website. So I'm going to go find WSU, and this is in the second paragraph because there's a paragraph marker here at the end of going on to college. And so this would be paragraph 2. I'm going to go ahead and insert a hyperlink by right-clicking and choosing link, or you can go to the insert tab and choose a link here. And I'm going to go ahead and type in an address down here of http://www.wsu.edu. It will apply to the text WSU. Click OK. And now that is a link to the website. And if I were to control click on it, it would take me to the website. The next one is to go ahead and put a clipboard icon to the left of the words getting prepared with a checklist. So I'm going to go to getting prepared right here. I'm going to go to the insert tab, choose icons, and I'm going to be looking for the word clipboard because it was in the parenthesis or the quotation marks here. So I'm looking for the word clipboard. And on the exam, it might ask you like to insert the first clipboard you see, but we want one with a checklist. So I'm just going to pick one and go ahead and insert it. And that will insert. I'm also going to resize it. That would be necessarily not something you would do on the exam because it doesn't tell you to resize it, but you could if you wanted to in this because this isn't the exam. The next task was to insert a page break before the words "this plan includes." So I'm going to go to the document. I'm going to hit Control F and type in "this plan includes." Control F again opens up my navigation pane. That will pop me down at the bottom, and I'm going to insert a page break here. I can do that on the Insert tab under Page Break, or I can do that on the Layout tab under Breaks for Page Break, or I can hit Control Enter on my keyboard and that will also insert Page Break. We're not going to see it because it's actually a hidden character, so if I turn on my Show Hide on the Home tab, I can see it and it actually exists. The next one was to apply a title style to the words Going On to College Plan. So I'm going to go up to the top and click on Going On to College Plan, and up in the Styles on the Home tab, I'm just going to apply the title style. The next step was to apply the subtitle style to Off to WSU. So the next line down, I'm going to go find the subtitle style and apply that. I'm then being asked to also apply a heading 1 to Getting Prepared in my to-do list, and a heading 2 to Finding an Apartment, Renting an Apartment, and Final Step. So I'm going to go to Getting Prepared and make that a heading 1. My to-do list is a heading 1. Finding an Apartment is a heading 2. Renting an Apartment is a heading 2. And Final Step is a heading 2. The next task was to modify the title style and the normal style. So I'm actually going to go up to the title style up at the top here. I'm going to right click on it and modify it. And that will allow me to change the style to being a 22-point font right here in the dialog box. Click OK for that. The next one is to modify the normal style. That's what everything is using, unless it has a different style applied to it. It's the default style, so I'm going to modify that. And I want to remove before and after spacing, which I could do right here, but I don't get a lot of setting options. So I'm going to go to Format, and this time I'm going to choose Paragraph. I'm going to do before of 0, after of 0, and align spacing of single right here in this spacing group. Clicking OK again, everything should condense. The next one is to download a picture from the WSU logo on the assignment, so that way you have it on your computer. And we're going to insert the picture anywhere on the first page. So I'm going to go ahead and just click up at the top, go to Insert, Pictures, and Insert from this device. I'm going to then go ahead and find my picture of wherever it's located. Yours was probably inside of your Downloads folder if you're on a PC, because that's where it defaults to. I'm going to go ahead and go to my folders, and I am going to go here, find my logo, insert it. Then wants me to adjust it to a 2-inch width, which square text wrapping. So with it selected on the Picture Format tab, I've got sizing over here where I can set the width of it. And you can see width goes across 2 inches. And then I'm going to set the text wrapping either by going to Wrap Text here or using layout options that are off to the right of the photo to make it a square text wrapping. And when I hover over this, it says square. It then wants me to go ahead and assign a relative vertical position of 500% of the top margin and a relative horizontal position of 1000% of the left margin. So I'm going to go ahead and go into positioning here. I'm going to go to more layout options. And in here, you can see that I've got a horizontal position and a vertical position. My horizontal position is going to be 1000% of the left margin. My vertical position is going to be 500% of the top margin. And when I do that and I click OK, it'll put it off to the right over here. The last step that you had was to add a caption, a figure caption of Washington State Cougars. So I'm going to right click it and add a caption, or you can go to the References tab and choose Insert Caption. And you can type Washington State Cougars. It wanted a figure caption, so I'm going to leave it at figure. It did not tell me whether or not to put it below or above the item, so I'm going to leave that alone and click OK. The most recent task we did was to insert a bookmark on the words getting prepared and then insert a hyperlink that links to it. I'm going to grab the words getting prepared. I'm going to go to the Insert tab and I'm going to insert a bookmark. I'm going to title it Go Prepared with no spaces and hit Add, essentially making sure that Word can keep track of that. I'm then going to go find the words large furniture at the end of the first sentence in the 14th paragraph and link that to a bookmark. So I can go to link. I can either bookmark it here or go to a place in this document and bookmark it to those words. Clicking OK. When I hold Control and I click on it, you'll see that my cursor will move from the right side of large furniture up to the left side of getting prepared where the bookmark was. And that is all of our current word challenges.